Okay, guys, so we're going to call this here professional fur handling part 4, the unanswered questions, basically. And basically what this is about is last year I started putting up the professional fur handling series, and I've got a few critters left to put up, but I've done quite a few from my area with pretty good success. Had a lot of comments, a lot of questions, quite a bit of interest on it. And with that interest came a lot of questions. Questions that I may have not covered in the series per se, or was kind of vague on and stuff. And so basically, I took the majority of those questions that I've been getting in the comments, the major ones, and I wrote them all down. And so we're going to try to go through them here and maybe clear up stuff for some people, what they've been wanting, and if anything, it'll keep me from having to type the same thing so many times in the comment box. So anyway, we'll kind of get started here. Kind of walk you around what we got here. Walk you around what furs we got, but more or less, okay, biggest thing is this is my washing machine and my dryer, guys. And I say in every video I wash all my furs, and that kind of startles some people, I believe. And I get a lot of questions on, what do you put them through a full wash cycle? Do you use soap? Questions like that. So, no, I don't use any soap of any kind. I simply, after I skin my critters, I take them, I put them in this washing machine, I put them through just a spin cycle. All I'm trying to do is get the blood, dirt, mud, anything off of them. Especially in my area, big with the coons, a lot of sandy areas. That sand will kind of discolor the coon fur, and you wash them and you really do get better colors. I've seen better colors with my grades. So cold water, just a spin cycle, no soap. If you don't have a washing machine, guys, take a garden hose and a bucket. This here is rigged. I don't have water out here, but it's rigged up with a tank. I've got a video on that if you're thinking about doing something similar. Next thing is drying times and temperatures, and when is a critter done? Okay, I get that a lot. When do you take it off the board? Okay, well, let's start off with, I try to keep my shed here between 50 and 60 degrees. It's a good working temperature. You're out here fleshing, you don't want it at 80 degrees. You start sweating. So, but that's also a good drying temperature for for fur. You also don't want no humidity. So 50 to 60 degrees, pretty good. Drying time, it's gonna vary, guys. For me, I can't afford to have fur on the boards for too long of a time. Whenever it's dry, it comes off because I got new fur to put on it. But on average, I would say for most critters, 4 to 5 days at that temperature. Okay, and it's gonna vary, humidity levels, temperature, things like that. But for the most part, 4 to 5 days. Okay, next question is, when do I know whenever my fur's ready to come off the boards? Okay, well, you know whenever your fur is going to be dry, guys. I mean, it's going to stop sweating. It's going to be dry to the feel. Okay, this coon right here, you can see it's real white. This coon right here. I put this coon on the board about an hour ago. You can see it's real dry, real supple. Okay, let's come over here to this coon. This coon here was put up yesterday. Okay, you can see there's a few areas of fat. It's not going to show up real good on the camera, but there's a few areas of fat that you're still white, not dry. It's starting to sweat up there around the tail area. That coon's got a day on it. He's going to need a few more days. Okay, come over here to this coon right here. He's done sweating. You can see he sweated a lot. I've wiped him down once already. He's done sweating. The fur's real dry. The ears are hard. The tail's dry. Everything's hard about him. That coon's ready. He could come off the board tomorrow morning and he'd be good. As far as the beavers, Okay, there's a beaver I put on the board yesterday. You can see the white areas right there. That's a little bit of the fat. He's gonna sweat and melt that little bit of fat out. It's gonna take him a few days. Here's a beaver that's done. Okay, you can see there's no sweat on him. All that fat is melted off a little bit. He's good, clean beaver. He's ready to come off. Muskrats. Here's a muskrat come off. You know, you can tell all the membranes nice and hard. Here's a muskrat that was dead, you know, about an hour ago. Everything's still real soft. Let's see. Here's a muskrat that was put on yesterday. Starting to hard up. You know, you can see the difference. Just use your judgment, guys. But I get a lot of questions on when's the pelt ready to come off. So that's that on the, you know, use your judgment. 4 to 5 days. Next, what do you do after? What do they do after you come off the boards? Well, guys, there it is. That's my first week's catch right there, hanging up 10 feet away from my other catch. You know, you keep it dry off the ground, away from mice, low humidity. You know, this week's catch will go back over there, and I'll just keep stacking it up till I sell it. You know, that's just what I do with it. Before I sell it, everything, because you might get a little bit of sweat, I'll wipe everything down before I bag it. Okay, I get a lot of people saying, you know, I did such and such to my fur and then I salted it. If you're selling for the fur trade, never use salt. If you salt a hide and send it to the fur trade, they will reject it. Never use salt. If you're going to use anything and use it on critters that are fur out, you know, use a little borax. But never use salt. Okay, next is my boards. You can see my boards. I got away from wire a couple years ago. You do get a better product on wood. I don't care what anybody says. Whether it makes you more money or not, that's for you to decide. For me, yes, my averages went up whenever I switched to boards. As far as the boards go, there's my canine boards there. I make all my own boards, yes. I make them out of pine or basswood. You can see here is an otter board. It's made out of pine. I planed it down, took it to Napa Specs. This is a coon board here. I do a lot of coons. I like that softer wood. This is basswood. In my area of the country, basswood is very hard to find and it's pretty expensive. Where I got it from was I went to a local sawmill and the guy had connections and he got it shipped in for me. You can see a lot of my boards are pine just because I can go to lumberyard and get them. It's just a little harder. But you know, you can get to Napa Specs. That's where I sell to, make a board. That's how I do it. Next thing, do I skin, flesh, and stretch daily? Yes, I skin daily, and then I wash and refrigerate that day, and then flesh the previous days. That's just my rotation. That's how I can keep up with myself. I can't freeze anything. I don't have the freezer space. I've got to keep everything, you know, on a rotation. So, yes, I do skin, flesh, and stretch every day. As far as where to sell to, guys, I sell to Napa personally. Fur harvesters, they also, they're a big international auction company. You can go online and get all the information you want about those two companies. And if you're a smaller guy, you want to sell to a county buyer, or you know, look them guys up. I will say one thing: presentation is very, very key if you're selling to a small guy. You know, if you have a coon that looks like that, you're going to get a lot better price than a coon put up on wood that's 5 inches wide. You know, because they've got to make money too on it. You know, and just to go back again to the wood and wire, I get a lot of questions on that. You know, I've already mentioned that a little bit, but yes, I do believe that wood gives you a better product and in the end gives you more money. So anyway, guys, I know this drug on kind of lengthy, but anyway, just try to answer a few questions, you know, that come up. These questions come up quite often, and you know, try to get them covered, and you know, get a few more people out there, you know, answered with their questions. So anyway, if you do have some questions, you know, that I might have not answered, you know, or something, feel free to comment, feel free to ask. Like I said, I've got a few more furs, you know, coming up, a few more species. But, you know, if I get enough comments, you know, and stuff that I need to make a second video to this, then that's fine, I will. So I appreciate all the support, guys. You know, I think it went over well. I think I've taught, you know, quite a few people you know, what they need to know and help them out. So that's good. We're passing it along. And anyway, guys, have a safe year, and happy trapping to you guys. Thank you.